Today, we examine 5 behaviors that masquerade as personality traits but are, in truth, symptoms of a mind that has not yet claimed its power. These are not character flaws. They are patterns, and patterns, once recognized, can be rewritten. The question is not whether you recognize these patterns in yourself. The question is whether you have the courage to face them. Sign 1. Apologizing for everything. You apologize for existing. There is a difference between accountability and self-erasure. One builds bridges, the other burns you at the stake while you hold the torch. When you apologize for everything, you are not being polite. You're not being considerate. You're negotiating the terms of your own invisibility. Every unnecessary apology is a small contract that says, my presence is a burden, my needs are negotiable, my boundaries are suggestions. Listen carefully. An apology is meant to repair harm you have caused. But when you apologize for occupying space, for speaking your mind, for having needs, for being inconvenient, you are not repairing anything. You are preemptively dismantling yourself so others do not have to. This behavior does not come from kindness. It comes from fear. The fear that if you do not shrink, you will be rejected. The fear that love and acceptance are currencies you must purchase with self-minimization. The fear that who you are, unfiltered and unapologetic, is fundamentally unworthy. But here is what no one tells you. People do not respect what constantly apologizes for itself. They may accept it. They may even exploit it. But they do not respect it. Because respect is earned through boundaries, not through the absence of them. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should not live as though we have 1,000 years. Every moment wasted in false apology is a moment stolen from authentic connection. When you apologize for things that require no apology, you train the world to see you as someone who should apologize. You create the very dynamic you fear. Consider the mechanics of this pattern. You enter a room and immediately say sorry for being late, though you are not late. You interrupt your own sentences with apologies. You apologize for asking questions, for needing clarification, for taking up time. Each apology is a tiny surrender of territory in the landscape of your life. And the cruelest part, the people you are apologizing to often do not notice. They accept your apologies without question, because you have trained them to expect your submission. Your constant apologies do not make you more likable. They make you forgettable. Because someone who constantly diminishes themselves cannot be remembered as someone who stood for anything. The psychological term for this is maladaptive people-pleasing. It is a survival strategy that worked once, perhaps in childhood, perhaps in a relationship where love was conditional on compliance. But survival strategies have expiration dates. What kept you safe at 12 will suffocate you at 30. Here is the shift. Reserve your apologies for actual transgressions. When you harm someone, apologize fully and without excuse. But when you exist, when you have needs, when you speak your truth, do not apologize for that. Replace "I'm sorry" with "thank you." Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Gratitude empowers. Apology, when misused, diminishes. Understand this deeply. You do not owe the world an apology for being human. Every unnecessary apology is a vote against your own existence. Sign 2. You obsess about your problems. You have become your problems. There is a particular kind of suffering that is self-inflicted, not because you caused the problem, but because you have chosen to live inside it. Obsession is not concern. Concern prompts action. Obsession is a cage where you visit your problems like sacred relics, turning them over endlessly in your mind, examining every angle, replaying every scenario, rehearsing every worst outcome, until the problem becomes more real than your life. This is not problem solving. This is problem worship. The weak mind believes that thinking about a problem is the same as addressing it. It is not. Rumination without action is just suffering with extra steps. It is the mental equivalent of pacing in a cell you have forgotten you hold the key to. Psychologists call this rumination, the compulsive focus on problems and their causes without moving toward solutions. Studies show that chronic ruminators experience higher rates of depression, anxiety, and learned helplessness. Why? Because rumination creates the illusion of productivity while guaranteeing paralysis. You convince yourself that if you just think about it enough, analyze it enough, worry about it enough, some magical insight will emerge that dissolves the problem. But that is not how reality works. Problems are not solved by attention alone. They are solved by decision and action. And every hour you spend obsessing is an hour you are not spending building. The Stoic philosophers had a practice for this, the dichotomy of control. Divide every situation into what you can control and what you cannot. What you can control, your actions, your responses, your effort, deserves your energy. What you cannot control, other people, outcomes, the past, deserves acknowledgement and release. Obsession always occurs in the space of what you cannot control. Consider the pattern. You make a mistake at work. A normal response is, acknowledge it, learn from it, correct it if possible, move forward. The obsessive response is, replay it 100 times. Imagine what everyone thinks of you, catastrophize your future, lose sleep, avoid the colleague involved. Let it poison your confidence for weeks. The mistake lasted 5 minutes. Your obsession with it lasts 5 months. This is not because you care more. This is because you have confused suffering with depth. Our culture has romanticized the tortured thinker, the person who feels everything so deeply they cannot function. But there is nothing profound about mental paralysis. There is nothing noble about refusing to move forward because you are too busy dissecting the past. And here is the dangerous truth. Your obsession serves a hidden purpose. It protects you from action. If you are constantly thinking about the problem, you have an excuse for not solving it. If you are perpetually overwhelmed, you cannot be held accountable for change. Your obsession is a shield against the vulnerability of trying and potentially failing. The strong mind acknowledges problems, assesses them clearly, determines the appropriate action, and then executes. When thoughts return, and they will, the strong mind redirects, not through suppression, but through intentional refocusing. I have allocated time and energy to this. I have taken the action available to me. This thinking no longer serves me. This is not toxic positivity. This is strategic mental allocation. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Where you place it determines the quality of your life. Place it on problems without action, and you build a prison. Place it on solutions, growth, and what you can actually influence, and you build a foundation. The philosopher Seneca said that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Your problems are often smaller than your obsession with them. The obsession is the real problem. The problem is never as powerful as your decision to keep feeding it. Sign 3. Avoidance of social situations. You are not protecting yourself. You are imprisoning yourself. Let us be precise about what avoidance actually is. It is not introversion. It is not needing solitude to recharge. Avoidance is the active retreat from situations where growth, connection, or discomfort might occur. Not because you do not want these things, but because you fear the cost of pursuing them. The weak mind confuses safety with stagnation. It believes that avoiding risk is the same as protecting yourself. But protection implies there is something valuable being guarded. What are you protecting? The version of yourself that never has to face judgment, never has to feel awkward, never has to risk rejection. But that version of you is not safe. That version is slowly dying from lack of use. Social situations are not inherently threatening. What is threatening is the possibility of being seen, truly seen, and judged as insufficient. So you avoid. You decline invitations. You stay home not because you want to, but because the temporary relief of avoidance feels better than the prolonged anxiety of participation. You convince yourself you prefer solitude, but in the middle of the night, the loneliness tells a different story. This pattern has psychological roots in social anxiety and avoidant behavior patterns. The more you avoid, the more evidence you collect that social situations are dangerous. Each avoided interaction confirms your belief that you cannot handle it. The anxiety grows, the world shrinks, and you mistake this shrinking for wisdom, for self-knowledge, for boundaries. But boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are conscious choices about where you invest your energy. Avoidance is an unconscious surrender to fear. Consider what you are actually avoiding. Not the event itself, the dinner, the meeting, the gathering. You are avoiding the possibility of being seen as awkward, boring, out of place. You are avoiding the risk that someone might not like you, might not find you interesting, might not validate your existence. You are avoiding the discomfort of not knowing how the interaction will unfold. But here is the truth. Every meaningful connection, every professional opportunity, every moment of genuine human warmth exists on the other side of that discomfort. You cannot selectively numb. When you close yourself off to the risk of negative social experiences, you also close yourself off to positive ones. The door only opens one way. Machiavelli understood power as the ability to act in the world, not theoretical power, but practical influence. And influence requires presence. You cannot build relationships, careers, or communities from the safety of isolation. The person who avoids is the person who forfeits their seat at the table and then wonders why decisions are made without them. The strong mind understands that discomfort is not damage. Awkwardness is not trauma. A conversation that does not go well is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a conversation that did not go well. You are allowed to be imperfect in public. You are allowed to have interactions that are forgettable, unremarkable, even mildly embarrassing. Here is the reframe. Social situations are not tests you pass or fail. They are practice. Every interaction is a repetition in the gym of human connection. Some reps are smooth, some are clumsy. Both make you stronger. The only way to lose is to stop showing up. Start small, not with grand gestures, but with micro commitments. Say yes to one thing this week that your avoidance pattern wants you to decline. Go. Be mediocre if you need to be. Be quiet if that is what feels right. But be present. Let your nervous system learn that presence does not equal death. The discomfort will fade, competence will build. And eventually, you will look back and realize that the prison you were living in had no walls, only the fear of walking through the door. The walls you hide behind are built from the bricks of unexplored courage. Sign 4. Allowing critics to control you. You have handed the remote control of your life to people who do not even know your address. Criticism is information. It can be accurate, biased, helpful, malicious, insightful, or entirely irrelevant. But criticism itself is neutral. What is not neutral is your response to it. And when you allow critics, people who have no stake in your life, no understanding of your context, no investment in your growth, to dictate your choices, you have committed the ultimate betrayal of self. This is not about ignoring feedback. Feedback from people who love you, who have earned your trust, who understand your goals, that is valuable. This is about the stranger on the internet, the bitter colleague, the family member who projects their disappointments onto your ambitions, the person who criticizes because they cannot create. When you allow these voices to control you, you are not being humble or open-minded. You are outsourcing your self-worth to people who are unqualified to assess it. The weak mind believes that all opinions deserve equal weight. It does not. Opinions are earned through proximity, competence, and care. The person who knows nothing about your field has no authority to tell you how to navigate it. The person who has never taken a risk has no standing to judge your failures. The person who diminishes you to feel better about themselves does not deserve access to your decision-making process. There is a concept in Stoicism called the inner citadel, the fortified core of self that remains untouched by external chaos. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who faced constant criticism, betrayal, and pressure, practiced this daily. He wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that. You would not let a stranger dictate your diet, your career, your relationships, yet you let them dictate your self-perception. You let their criticism loop in your mind, reshaping your goals, dulling your ambition, making you smaller. Why? Because somewhere along the way, you were taught that external validation is the measure of internal worth. It is not. Here is what happens when you allow critics to control you. You stop creating. You stop innovating. You smooth every edge, sand down every uniqueness, mold yourself into something inoffensive and forgettable. And the critics? They still criticize, because their criticism was never about you. It was about them. People criticize for three reasons: to protect themselves from their own inadequacy, to enforce conformity because your difference threatens their worldview, or because they genuinely see a flaw and want to help. Only the third type deserves your attention. The first two deserve your indifference. Developing critic immunity is not about arrogance. It is about discernment. Ask yourself, does this person have the experience, the context, and the goodwill to offer me valuable insight? If yes, listen deeply. If no, acknowledge, release, continue. The most successful people in history were relentlessly criticized. They were told their ideas were foolish, their methods were wrong, their ambitions were delusional. They succeeded not because they ignored all feedback, but because they filtered it through their own judgment, rather than allowing it to bypass their sovereignty. Your critics are not living your life. They are not navigating your challenges. They are not responsible for your outcomes. You are. And when you give them control, you abdicate the only power that was ever truly yours, the power to decide who you become. Stop asking, what will they think? Start asking, what do I know to be true? What serves my growth? What aligns with my values? The critics will always be there. The question is whether you will be there for yourself. Let them talk. You were never meant to satisfy an audience that bought tickets to watch you fail. Sign 5. You're constantly defensive. Defensiveness is not protection, it is proof. When you are constantly defensive, you are not guarding your boundaries. You are advertising your insecurity. Every defensive reaction is a flashing sign that says, you found the wound, and it is deeper than I want to admit. The strong mind can receive criticism without crumbling. It can hear disagreement without feeling attacked. It can acknowledge mistakes without spiraling into shame. The defensive mind cannot. It experiences every challenge as an existential threat, every question as an accusation, every suggestion as proof of inadequacy. This is exhausting for you and for everyone around you. Defensiveness operates on a simple psychological mechanism. The ego perceives threat and activates protection mode. But here is the problem. The ego is an unreliable threat detector. It sees danger everywhere because its job is not accuracy. It is preservation, and it will sacrifice your growth, your relationships, and your reputation to maintain the illusion of being right. When someone points out a mistake and your immediate response is justification, explanation, deflection, what are you actually defending? Not the truth, not your integrity. You are defending the story you tell yourself about who you are. And that story is fragile. So fragile that it cannot withstand even gentle correction. Consider what happens in defensiveness. Your partner mentions you have been distant. Instead of listening, you list all the ways they have been distant too. Your colleague suggests a better approach. Instead of considering it, you explain why your way is necessary. Your friend expresses hurt. Instead of acknowledging it, you justify your actions until their hurt becomes about you. In every case, defensiveness prioritizes being right over being connected. It chooses ego over understanding. And it guarantees that no one will feel safe giving you honest feedback ever again. The philosopher Epictetus taught that we should not be disturbed by events themselves, but by our interpretation of events. Criticism is an event. Defensiveness is your interpretation. The interpretation that says you are under attack, that your worth is on trial, that you must fight or be destroyed. But what if criticism is just information? What if disagreement is just a different perspective? What if feedback is just someone's experience of interacting with you, neither a verdict on your character nor a threat to your existence? The strong mind practices receptivity, not acceptance of everything, but the capacity to receive input without immediate reaction. There is a pause, a space between stimulus and response where freedom lives. In that pause, you can ask, is there truth in this? Can I learn from this? Does this serve me? If yes, integrate it. If no, release it. But you cannot do either from a defensive stance because defensiveness is already the answer. The answer is always, no, you are wrong about me. This pattern destroys relationships. People stop sharing because they are tired of managing your reactions. They stop being honest because honesty requires them to soothe your ego. They tiptoe around you, and you interpret their distance as proof that people do not understand you. But they do understand you. They understand that you are more committed to being right than to being real. Here is the practice. When you feel defensiveness rising, pause, breathe, say, "Tell me more." Let the person finish. Resist the urge to explain, justify, or counter. Listen not to respond, but to understand. Then say, "I need to think about that," and actually think about it. You will be shocked how much this disarms conflict. You will be shocked how much you learn. Most of all, you will be shocked how much lighter you feel when you stop carrying the exhausting burden of always needing to be right. Your worth is not on trial every time someone disagrees with you. You are not required to defend yourself against every perceived slight. The truly confident do not need to prove their confidence. Defensiveness is the armor of the insecure. The strong simply listen, learn, and move forward. These 5 patterns, apologizing for your existence, obsessing over problems, avoiding growth, surrendering to critics, and reacting defensively, are not permanent. They are learned behaviors, survival strategies that once served a purpose but now serve only to limit you. The weak mindset is not a life sentence. It is a habit. And habits, when examined with honesty and addressed with discipline, can be transformed. Strength is not the absence of fear, insecurity, or doubt. Strength is acting in alignment with your values despite those forces. It is showing up when hiding feels safer. It is listening when defending feels necessary. It is moving forward when obsessing feels productive. It is maintaining boundaries when apologizing feels easier. It is trusting your own judgment when critics demand your surrender. You are not broken. You are operating with outdated software. Update it. Rewrite the code. Reclaim your mind. Because the world does not need another person shrinking to fit into spaces designed for lesser versions of themselves. The world needs you, fully expressed, unapologetically present, and unshakably sovereign. Your mind is either a prison or a kingdom. Start acting like the architect.